Hey traders, John Howell here. Today I've got something really interesting I want to share with you today. When it comes to the stock market, there's a pattern there that it's very interesting. Also, I want to share something when it comes to the silver mining stocks. It's not actually looking too good when it comes to the silver mining stocks. There's a pattern that's forming there. And if we get a bit of confirmation, a little bit of extra data, a little bit of extra data, we might be getting ready for a silver mining stock drop. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so don't shoot me. I'm a bull at heart long term, but on the short term, as you know, anything can happen when it comes to these markets. Before I do start, guys, make sure you go down. I'm actually, for a short time frame, I'm actually just giving away my complete trading course here. My free trading course. There's actually 4 phases that goes into the trading course, which is the foundations, the chart reading strategies, trading systems, and also the what I call the X factor. What is the X factor that you need? There's almost, I think there's like 9-10 videos there. There's almost about 10 hours worth of training there. Walking you through everything from what you need to do to become a good trader, the biggest mistakes you're making, how to actually read the charts, the trading systems, what is the mindset, all that sort of stuff that you need to become a good trader, a well-rounded good trader. I've actually put in here. That's why I call it the breakthrough, to help you. It's 100% free. But I'm only doing it for a very short period of time frame. So just go to johnsfreegift.com. Go to that right now, guys, because I don't want you guys missing out before I go back to start charging again. So free, guys, just go get the help you need, okay? Now, let's have a look at what the market is telling us. Now, moving forward into today, we have a lot of things that's going on. Firstly, let's have a look at what is, let me just move this over here. Let's actually start off with the Dow Jones, and then I want to get to, there's something happening with the Russell that, oh baby. I say, oh baby, because it might give me a good trade. It's like, that's why I'm saying, oh baby. Anyway, so let's have a look at the Dow Jones. Let's actually flick this up to the Dow Jones. So we're looking at the Dow Jones now, and the one thing that gets me nervous about where we are right now as a whole, right? Yes, we can break up and continue going up, but the one thing that gets me nervous as a whole is this. Let me actually open up this chart here. Is this chart here? If I look at this chart overall from a chart perspective, never in the last 10 years have we seen something like this that has just been so high. Everything is so high. And if the way that the markets work is that we go through these different phases, right? We go through, you can see here, we go through a bull move, and then we go through a resting phase, a bull move, a resting phase, a bull move, a resting phase, and so on and so forth, right? But hardly ever do we actually see this here. And whenever we do see this here, like you can see, like right through, like this point through here, you can see how that it generally ends with a very sharp sort of correction, and then we go through a period of not much going on for quite some time. So that's what I'm looking out for when it comes to these markets. Like, then are we getting ready for that? Not much going on here, right? Because this market is just going absolutely just bonkers to the upside. Now, one thing that's also interesting, let me actually bring up this other chart here when it comes to the Dow Jones. Let me go to the weekly chart here. And the interesting thing that you can see here is that if we have a look at the distance, right? So we have this 52 moving average, and you can see that this blue line is the 52 moving average, and you can just see how far we're away from it. Notice how the market hardly ever get too far away from this 52 moving average before we come back to it. You can see how it's like a magnet, right? The moving average sort of goes along with it. So you can see that through there. If I go to the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 is so much more overvalued than ever before. And so that tells me, guys, that the caution needs to be on a correction coming in the markets. And you can see that through there, and also the Nasdaq as well too, same sort of thing as well too. We've just been going up. What we're experiencing right now in the Nasdaq is this. This actually could be a false breakout to the upside. That's what we could be experiencing right now. Because if you have a look at this market, notice what the market loves to do this. Notice how the market will rally up, and then it'll come back down, and the trader says, "Just give me one more," and then you go to sleep. Right? Anyway. That was me anyway when I was doing my boxing training. If you guys knew me back then, I had my first fight this year, and so I was doing like a 3-month sort of training camp. And I actually won my fight, which is awesome. And I learned a lot through there when it comes to actually the interesting thing about boxing is that you do a lot of drills, a lot of training, right? Train, a lot of leg work around the ring. Like, okay, where should you be when it comes to the ring? And you keep going. The interesting thing that I learned about boxing, and I'll get back to the markets here, is it's very, 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 very similar to trading, right? So to trading. Because the more hours, right? So this is the hours here. I'm going to put the HRS. The more hours that I put in here when it comes to my boxing training, my leg works, my punches, my ducking, weaving, and just do it again and again and again and again and again and again outside of the actual boxing match. When I actually got into the ring for my fight, guess what? Now I'm an amateur, right? This is my first fight. Guess what? Is that this become what I call unconscious. My leg. I noticed in my fight that when I watched the back, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of leg work there, right? There's a lot of things that I did behind the scenes, like because I did it again and again and again and again and again. I got so good at it that when I was actually in the heat of the moment, I knew exactly what to do. That's the same for trading, right? It's like, what are you studying again and again and again and again and again and again? Not 1,000 different things all the time. Like, what are the top 5, 6, 7 things? Hint, I actually put them in the trading course for you, that you should be focused on, that when you get really, really good at this, you're like, now I'm starting to get really good at chart reading, right? Again, phase number two is actually chart reading. There's actually 3 videos there. Like, how do I actually get good at reading the charts? And when you go this again and again and again, when you're in the thick of it and the market's moving live, you're like, I know exactly what's happening. Makes sense? And that's when you really start to become like a really, really good trader, because you start to see things happening. Hence, what I'm seeing through here on the Nasdaq, I'm like, this actually could be some sort of a false breakout to the upside, because we've just been so high. And look how far we're away from the 52. You can notice here, this was the distance from the 52 here, but you see when we hardly ever get too far away from the 52. And again, the 50, and this is also known as, are we overstretched? Are we due for a correction? So on and so forth, right? Now, it's not saying we're definitely going to get that correction, but this is just something to keep in mind, okay? This is something to keep in mind, that if we're due for some sort of a correction out of these markets, then we could actually be getting ready for that, and we could actually start to see something like this, a bit of a correction, and then I go back up. I still have a target of 17,000 on the Nasdaq by the end of the year, but we may be getting ready for what I call a reset, which is just a pullback in the markets. As you can see, this market's just pullback and a reset, and just continue on. It's probably going to be a very, very healthy thing as well too for the markets, reset. So if we do start to see a 10 to 15% pullback in the markets, it's going to be a correction. It's not a change in trend, and the buyers are probably going to come back in. And if we're looking at, okay, where if the if scenarios did come in, say to the Nasdaq. All right, if the if scenarios did come into the Nasdaq, and let's actually bring up this chart here. So if we did go through a correction, where would the market likely to go to? All right, so let's actually look at the Nasdaq here firstly. So if we corrected here, a 15% correction looks like it could be back down to here, which is just like, back down to 13,000. It could be just there, and maybe even possibly lower. But if we use the Fibonacci levels from the low through to the high, then we could actually even start to get our retracement back down to, say, this point through here, right? Which is just, that point through there, around the 12,000 level. And that still be okay in a big bull market. If we go, let's go to the S&P 500 now, and we'll do the same sort of thing. If we have a low, if we have a high, if we do have some sort of a correction, Actually, that's actually really interesting. This point through here, where we actually had a lot of support, that's actually around a 15%. So we could be seeing that. And as you can see, I've got a trend line here that if I go to my daily charts, you can see this trend line has definitely kept us in check for quite some time. You can see on my weekly chart through here, it's definitely kept us in check. If we start to break that, that's going to be a warning bell for something not working there. And the same for the Dow Jones. Actually, the Dow Jones, the line in the sand for the Dow Jones is this point through here. If we do start to see the 34,000 being broken, if we get this 34,000 broken on the downside, then that's going to be an end of trend, and we're going. And this, what we're seeing right now, will be some sort of a slight little rally before we actually drop there. We have to wait and see because we need a lot more data. I never know how to say that word. Is it data or data? Data. I'm definitely not even gonna date the market right now. I'm gonna be very, very cautious. She's not even getting a kiss right now. I'm standing aside. Actually, you know what? Let's look for shorting opportunities. Actually, AKA, I'm actually in a shorting opportunity, right? I'm actually in a short trade right now myself. So for you private clients, I hope you've been running your scans because you would know exactly what that trade is. Beautiful trade. Anyway, so we can see that through there. So if we break this low here, we are no longer in an upward trend anymore. And so this is the key point through here. If we start to break this level, then we could start to see that correction overall start to happen. Now, again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. We could continue breaking up and just continue seeing this move on the upside because we are in one of the greatest things of all time, when it comes to interest rates and currency. As the good old Mike Maloney would say, currency. So that's what we're seeing through there. Now, let me go share with you something. So we're seeing that on the Nasdaq, Dow Jones, and S&P. Okay. Now, let's go have a look at what the Russell's telling us. Because the Russell could be like, uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Uh-oh, spaghetti bowl. I have no idea where that came from. Anyway, guys, I tell you what, guys, trading is just an amazing thing, right? It really is. And it's just like, if you're having a hard time right now, it's because you're trying to pick and choose and think and hope and fear. It's like, no, guys, just have a trading system. And every time you see the trade, just take the trade. Some are going to be losses. Most are going to be profits. Rinse, recycle, repeat. You do that for the whole year, you're going to make money. Have small risk on your account, 1% to 2% risk. I recommend when you're first starting out that you have 1% risk on your account any given one trade. Start making a lot of money really, really quickly. And then, get rich for sure, not get rich fast. Because get rich fast means you're probably going to blow yourself up. So just get some sort of a system. In the trading course, I teach you my trading system. But if it's not my stuff, just find something that you want to focus on. One thing, one system only. And then trade that. If you're not making money right now, it's because of your own fault. Because you watch a video like mine, like, oh, John said the market's going to correct, so let me buy put options now. No. You are going to lose a lot of money by doing that. Don't do that. Don't be a bumblebee, right? If you want to be a professional, if you want to join me and the other guys, the top 3% club of people who actually do well out of these markets, guess what? Follow a system. And if you're just gambling, I'm going to get in here because it looks like a good idea, or this guy said this, who gives a damn rat's ass shit? I don't know what's going to happen. Ray Dalio doesn't. No one knows what's definitely going to happen. So what's the only thing we can rely on? A pattern that we believe in that has a good win-loss ratio, and we take it every time. And sometimes you're going to have the losses, and that's just part of the game. So be prepared for that, because the next trade you take could be that loss. And that's still okay. Because guess what? You take 20 of those trades, and winner, chicken dinner, you're making money. Ding, ding, ding. That's how trading works. A lot of people that follow the YouTube stuff, right? The YouTubes, they're like, oh, wow, I got into this stock and it lost money. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. Like, you serious now? That's not how professional trading works. Get real, right? If you want to be part, the way trading works is like, okay, here's a pattern. Take it 20 times, not once. Because if you take it once and it doesn't work out, oh, that didn't work out. Oh, mommy, I lost some money. Come on, stop being a little bitch. Stop being a little bitch, right? It's like, that's not the way trading works. And if you've lost a lot of money in the markets, it's your own fault. One, you probably got into something because a YouTube video said so. And secondly, you loaded up too much risk. That's not how trading works long term. You want to be making a lot of money for the rest of your life in the markets. What starts with a good foundation. And that's the reason why in my trading course, I teach you the foundations, the biggest mistakes you're making right now. And I just told you one of the mistakes you're making, which is just you're not even using a plan. You know, could you imagine a bodybuilder? Not a bodybuilder. I was thinking bodybuilder, right? I was thinking building, right? Construction. Could you imagine you wanting to build? You know, you see a big block of land. You know, you're Trump, Mr. Trump. Could you imagine Mr. Trump looking at a block of land and you're like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to just slap everything together and I'm going to build a skyscraper. Do you think that's it? He's like, oh yeah, well, I guess I could use this material and I could use that material and yeah, just put a nut and bolt here and yeah, he'll be fine. Do you think he does that? He just slaps it together? No. Guess what? When he's looking at the land, he's like, okay, then what sort of building can I build here? How high can I build? What sort of building can I build on this thing? And he's starting to put the plan together. You know, and then he's looking at the end in mind, which is like, when am I exiting this? When am I gonna exit the building? When am I gonna exit these units and so on and so forth? Makes sense? So guys, if you want to be professional, you have to be professional. Otherwise, don't come crying to me when you lose your money, because it's inevitable. Every single one of you can become good traders if you just listen to what I just said there. I want you guys, all right? I want you guys part of the, part of the top 3% club. Actually, you know what? Put in the chat box below, I'm a 3%er. If you want to be, at least if you want to be a 3%er in these markets. All right, guys. So let's actually go back to the Russell now, and actually, you know what, guys? Before I get in the Russell, guys, I'm not here to blow wind up your backside. I'm not here to bullshit you and say, oh, look, you can make millions of dollars. No, trading is a hard thing. And the hardest thing is not the system. The hardest thing is exactly what I just said there. You're not even sticking to something 100% of the time. That's the key. Find a pattern that you like and trade 100% of the time, no matter what you think over here. That's it. Oh, but John, I haven't had a trade for a whole week. I don't give a shit. The market gives you a trade this week, you have a trade. If you don't have a trade this week, you don't trade. Simple. And if you're going to keep trading like a little bumblebee, which is like just trading anything because it just looks like a good idea, I promise you it's going to end in, end in that little, what do they call a dead animal on the side of the road? I know, put a little, right? You're going to be ending like that, right? You're going to end up being run over. Don't, guys, don't, right? Slow down. Because what you want to think about your trading is like, okay, where you want to be in 2025? Do you want to be a 7-figure trader in 2025? Okay, cool. What do you need to start doing now every day so you can build the disciplines, and the disciplines build momentum, and the momentum starts to make money, and the momentum and money, and when you start to make money, before you know it, you start to make, maybe, you might make $50,000 a year, then $100,000 a year, then $300,000 a year, and before you know it, you're making $1 million a year, and it's like 5-6 years down the track. What are those daily disciplines right now? I'm not here to blow wind up your backside and talk a whole bunch of bullshit to you. No, I'm here to tell you the truth about what it takes to get ahead in the markets, because I unfortunately have gone through the hard roads, and I want you guys to do well as well. Anyway. Bit of a motivation talk. Looking under, John, shut the hell up and get to the charts, right? So looking at the Russell's not looking too good, guys. And if we start to really get some, if we start to hold here, right? Because we're going through a bit of a sideways channel. We had a big move up through here, and remember I said before, when the market has a long move, then we end up generally going through a bit of a sideways phase. Well, then what I'm looking for is, if we start to get a sharp drop out of this, then we could be getting ready for a bit of a severe correction in the market. So that's what I'm looking at there when it comes to the Russell, and I actually may even have a shorting opportunity when it comes to Russell. Let's have a look at this here. And you know what? And the last but least on this update today, I want to share something when it comes to the mining stocks, and the mining stocks are doing something very similar to the Russell. Look at this here. Very, 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 very sideways movement, right? We had a bit of a drop down. Now we're getting a bit of a pullback here. If we get some sort of a sharp drop out of here, the SIL, and then also that was the SILJ, this is the SIL. If we do start to break, what's this level here? Around that 38 to 40 level. Call it 39. Actually, you know what? Let's just keep it real simple. Around that 40 level there. If we do hold that, isn't that interesting? Oh, wow. Look at that. 40 is the support, 50 is the resistance. So therefore, if that's the resistance is the 50 round number, 40 round number. If the market drops, then we're now likely to go to what? The next round number, which would be right there, 30. So if we break this, if we break this 40 on a sharp level, then we're probably going to head back down towards the 30 level in the markets there. Anyway, guys, this is a bit of an update slash a bit of an honest talk, bit of a real talk with you guys that want to be ahead in the markets. And again, guys, just head on down to johnsfreegift.com to actually grab this free trading course, because if you do want to become good long term, and you actually want to be good at this stuff, then you need to know this. You need to know the important things that actually do matter. Because I promise you right now, 80% of the stuff out there that you're learning is a whole bunch of bullshit, and it's good to learn it, but it's not going to make a lick of difference to your bank account or your trading account. Guys, just go to johnsfreegift.com, grab that trading course, and I'll see you in the next video.